Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Lee Pitts Live. It's our annual pilgrimage and we're back here come rain, come shine, come sleet or snow here in Fort Myers, Florida. In the heart of the Fort Myers community, we're in an area called the Dunbar community. It is the largest minority community in Southwest Florida. If you're looking at us from around the world, we're in the southwest quadrant of the state of Florida, the renowned Fort Myers, Florida. We're at Community Fun Day 2023, put on by RICO, a part of Mount Hermon Ministries, a nonprofit that's having a redeeming influence on the community. You're gonna see hundreds of people, maybe 1,000 or so, moving through here every year. To get thousands coming through here. And Lee Pitts Live is the media sponsor, and we come out every day, every year, to enjoy this festivity. For the most part, we always have seen our mayor out here of the city of Fort Myers, the city that we say Miami has the oranges, but Fort Myers got the juice. Eventually, it's going to be on police cars. Hey, you got to have two of them, Mr. Mayor, not just City of Palm. You're going to appeal to a broader community. Eventually, that would be a referendum. I'll come before the city council.
Well, let's not stop with the police cars. Let's put them on all city vehicles.
There you go. Get the billboards. I'll come before the city council for a referendum. It has stuck more than the City of Palm. It has stuck locally. Even the mayor is aware of it. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your patience and hanging out around here today. You always make it your business to come to Community Fun Day here on Mount Hermon Ministries property. Talk about why this is so important to you.
Well, Lee, if you take a look around, and this is what community is. It's people coming together, working together, helping each other out to make the community stronger.
One of the things that I heard you mention off camera is that these types of things 10 years ago or so, we didn't see this type of coming together of our vast, diverse community from all walks of life, ages, income, races, you name it, everybody's coming out. And I'm assuming that is the type of representation you want beamed around the world for the city of Fort Myers.
Absolutely, Lee. I mean, you look around, just look at the diversity. There's people from all walks of life, backgrounds, gender, race, ethnicity. It doesn't matter. They're here together today as community.
What do you hope that people take from today's experience, where there will be food, there'll be book bag giveaway, health screenings are taking place, the works?
That we are community. There are resources available. There are people willing to help those who need help, and that this is a great community because we do take care of each other.
One of the things I heard you mention earlier, you probably don't know, I saw you mention it on social media, about just up the street at Clemente Park and the renovations that's going to be taking place there. I think you talk about the millions of dollars that are already allocated to that. Again, community revitalization, bringing quality to the community. Speak to that on Lee Pitts Live.
Absolutely. You know, the first thing, Lee, is Representative Jenna Persons-Mullica got us a $1 million grant for new playground equipment. It's going to be just like the equipment down at Centennial Park, which is all-inclusive. So it's for kids with special needs, so they don't get left out. But more importantly, what's going to happen there is the cultural center that's going to get built there. And you know, Clemente Park is about halfway between I-75 and downtown. So it's a great location. And when you look at what's going to take place at Fowler and Martin Luther King, and then what's going to take place at Ortiz and Martin Luther King area, then that project, hopefully what we're going to do is see a real revitalization of this corridor, the Martin Luther King Boulevard.
And just the ongoing process of creating a great gateway to our magnificent river district and magnificent city of Fort Myers, would you say?
Absolutely. And then you add into this Veronica Shoemaker Boulevard going south from MLK. That is connecting the city more so than anything. I mean, you're going to have, at some point, you're going to have a blend between what used to be Dunbar, non-Dunbar, and it's going to blend together.
The Dunbar community is a unique community, very vital to the city of Fort Myers, large population, right here in the heart of the city. Your hopes and aspirations for the growth of Dunbar are what?
Well, first of all, when you say Dunbar to people, a lot of times they're influenced by a perception they get off from the media. You know, all the negative. From my very first days on the police department, what always came to mind to me in Dunbar was pride. What a sense of pride in this community. Granted, at that time, when you drove down Martin, well, it was Anderson Avenue at that time, and you saw the gambling, you saw the different activities that weren't really good for the community. But you get off of that corridor and you get into the neighborhoods, and it speaks pride.
And one of the things that is very near and dear to you is the Dunbar High School. You worked there for a while as a officer, a police officer, whatever you call y'all. You can tell me that. But you saw that high school also bring some additional pride to the city on its way to the state finals in football.
Oh yeah, that was amazing to see that game being played there. I think who was against Daytona.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they lost. But still, the sense of pride in the community to have that high school football team playing in that game, it was outstanding. And you know, the other thing that was great too is our new director of Parks and Recreation. I'm sure you've probably met him, Elgin Hicks.
Yes, he's been on my show.
And he started.
But you can tell him he needs to build a better relationship with me.
But he started the
football guy and everything. Yeah,
the City of Palms Classic. You know, where every year that's going to be a big game between Fort Myers High and Dunbar High Schools.
Shouting you out, Elgin. You're my man. We talked about the corridor to the city of Fort Myers. This is my personal viewpoint. I know there's been a whole lot of discussion about a lot of major landmarks in the city of Fort Myers and how they should be utilized. I'm looking at that big property where the news press was located, and just from my banker perspective, the bank vice president, I'm like, that seemed like a nice place for some residential to me, and a great addition to the tax base. And there is a demand for residential. And yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
I think that's a prime site for developing a private development. You know, initially the prior city manager wanted to put police headquarters there. That's too valuable of a piece of land to put a government building. All right, you know, we need good development there, housing, business. We have a group that's talking about putting a hotel, a grocery store, restaurants, and 3, maybe 4 apartment complexes there, and some retail.
I love it.
That's what we need. We're talking about a $500 million investment in the city.
Yeah, private investment. I love it. Put me on record as saying I love it. Another thing that I noticed is that the downtown, we could learn from downtown Fort Myers, where we have some government buildings and prime property. I noticed stuff like that, like the post office, and I noticed some other things that are down there that are not moving, but I can see where there can be major revenue generating properties and move a basic post office to just another location. This is just me talking again. Have y'all had some discussions about that prime property on the water?
Absolutely, because the Postal Service leases that property.
Okay.
And that lease is up in 3 years. So most likely it will not be renewed. It'll probably be developed. And the lot next to it is owned by the city. We have a developer interested in that lot. You know, additionally, McCullum Hall's coming along.
Yes.
And there's going to be housing on the lot next to McCullum Hall. A lot of good things. The police department. I think Monday council meeting, we should finalize the purchase of the land for the new headquarters, so that property of the old police headquarters can be developed. And then we'll start looking at where do we relocate City Hall. And that is a big block all the way from Martin Luther King to 2nd Street between Broadway and Hendry. Prime area for residential, mixed use on the first floor and residential. When
you're in the growth mode, you're in the growth mode. When you grow, when the city grows, it benefits everybody in terms of the economic development, the income, job creation, tax base, the whole works. So I'll be following that very closely.
So let me say this real quick, if I could, Lee. You know, a lot of people say, well, it's market rate that's going in. It doesn't really matter. You know, we have projects that are workforce and affordable as well. But the more you increase the inventory of housing to catch up with that demand, the better off you can deal with that lower income housing.
I see. What are some hot things that right now that people should be aware of? Well, before we go to that, talk about where we are now since Hurricane Ian came through here. What percentage of back to normal are we?
Inside the city, we are pretty much probably 75% normal. You still see some blue tarps out there, you know, but you're starting to see the traffic lights get fixed, the street signs replaced. You know, we're going to see the yacht basin start getting some activity there. We've got most of the boats cleaned up. We got all of the floating docks picked up. This has been a really good recovery, and the city's going to come out of this bigger, better, and stronger.
Just swore in the new chief of police. Did you call his name and give you a thought about it?
Jason Fields. When I was doing the hiring and recruiting for the police department, Jason was a candidate for officer. I brought him forward. I knew he was a great candidate for police officer, and I knew he was going to have a good career with this agency. So I'm really happy to see that that's where it's taken him.
Well, what stood out to you about him that made you feel so positive about him?
He's just a straightforward, a straight shooter, level-headed, he's got integrity, all the things you want in a leader.
Okay, so he's going to be intricately involved in the community. I had the pleasure of interviewing him about 8 months ago when he was a major, and looking forward to getting him on Leap Pitts Live too and get some of his thoughts.
We're excited.
Is it fair to say that the city of Fort Myers is on the move?
Lee, we had our first budget workshop here recently, and financially the city's probably in better shape than it's ever been in for a long time anyway. And yes, we're on the move. We have a lot of interest in this city. I mean, I could go on and on with the projects. Vantage, you know, over there at Carson and West 1st Street, that lot's been scraped. Royal Palm Square is going to be torn down and developed. There's a big project going on on Ortiz in 82. Alessio out of Chicago is putting in some light industry and some apartments. I mean, just on and on and on.
When you say the city of Fort Myers is financially better than it has ever been in recent history, what are the main things that the average person need to know contributes to that? Well,
first of all, last year we budgeted 2.7 to be moved from the reserves, 2.7 million to be moved over from the reserves into the general fund. We didn't touch it. Even though we had a hurricane, we didn't use it.
Oh, really?
But not only did we not use that, we have saved another $7 million, all right? That's allowing us, going into the 23-24 budget year, to reduce the tax rate.
Okay. When that budget is going to be ratified this coming week?
No, we have two budget hearings that are open to the public in September.
I see. Well, Mr. Mayor, it's been a pleasure to have you stop by here.
Lee, it's always a pleasure.
Keep up the good work. Is this the new color now? I've never seen you in the red and white.
Yeah, we're playing with the logo. We've come up with a new one that accentuates the palms a little bit more.
Okay.
It probably doesn't show much on this one.
And then you're going to get the second shirts that say, I know we're giving Miami a little bit of publicity, but Miami might have the oranges, but the city of Fort Myers has got the what?
Juice.
Got the juice. So we'll just use the word juice. I'll copyright that so when it comes around my way, I can get some royalties. We'll see you.